Alright, I want to give everyone tips on doing tapestry crochet using double crochet. It is easier to do than you might think. As long as you know a few things, it'll make it go a lot easier. So I'm working with my red and I'm stitching over my black. And what I want to do is hold down my black towards the back while I'm stitching over it, right over the top of the hook. After I put it through the next stitch, I'm going to make my last stitch in red all the way up to the last yarn over. This is where I'm going to change my color. Drop my red, pick up my black, and do the last yarn over. I'll start working in black, stitching over the red. And the thing about doing this, you need to keep an eye on your stitched over color. What you do is you take it, give it a little pull until your last stitch made in that color just starts to move just a little bit. You don't want to squish that stitch down by pulling too hard or too much. And this is really important when you're doing long sections in one color. When you go to pull that black out, you'll pinch the last stitch while you pull the black to get the slack out. And what you do when you're doing the really long sections, longer than this, after you pull the slack out, you'll run your fingers across it to give it a little stretch so it stays relaxed. But pulling that slack out is kind of important, or else you'll have it poking through the back, and you don't want that. The back is never going to be as pretty as the front, so don't worry about that, because you're pushing your carried yarn to the back, so you're going to see it in the back. But it's better to see it in the back than it is to see it in the front. But occasionally you will see it in the front, especially at the joins. And you can just take a little permanent black magic marker at the joins if it sticks out too much and it bugs you. But I want to get up to this join and show you how I carry my color up. And when you're picking up your new color and putting it down, you want to try to keep them in the same place. I keep my black to the front and my red to the back, and I pick them up and drop them in the same place. If you keep going one over the other, you'll end up twisting your yarns together, and you'll have to stop and untwist them. See, I'm on my last stitch here before my join. I'll pull out a little bit of that slack. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my color to the black for the last part of that last stitch. Now I'm going to do my join in my top chain of the chain 3 that I started the round with. And I'm going to take my carried color and put it over the top of the hook right before I do my slip stitch. So that way, when you do your starting chain 3 for the next round, it goes over the top and holds that down. See, you can see some of the red sticking through here at the join because the join area is kind of loose from that chain 3. It'll look different if you use standing stitches, but I just use regular chains because that's what everyone knows. See, I had ended up picking up and dropping my colors one over the other, and now I got a twist in my yarn because I wasn't paying attention. But you get to that. See how that pulled through? Don't worry about that until you get to the end and you take out your slack. So when I pull that, it's going to pull that yarn back. And then when you're pulling, it's a good idea to pull to the back and down, because if you pull up, it's going to make your carried color stick up. See, you can see it sticking in the back, sticking through. You just want to take that little bit of slack out of there. If you don't take that slack out, you're going to have all kinds of little puffs in the back, which can end up turning into a loop if it gets snagged on something. I'll show you if I can find one. But you can see my carried color shows through on the back, and it's not quite as pretty as the front. Here's a little bit of puff right there, but not much. But sometimes if you miss an entire row and don't pull the slack out, it will look pretty bad on the back. piece of fuzz. I know I've got some of those. There's one I missed stitching over, my carried color. Not a big deal because it's on the back. You can see a little bit of a puff there. I didn't get quite enough pulled out. But you never want to pull out too much and bunch your stitches up, because it'll make your entire project start going crazy. You want it to still have some stretch in it, but without the carried yarn puffing through too much on the back. Here's a little bit. Oh, I can't even find one. Ignore the unwoven ends. There's a little bit of excess in there that I didn't get pulled out quite as much. But when you do these long sections, just pinch that last stitch. When you want to pull the slack out of the black, take your black, pull it out, pull the slack out, down and towards the back. And that'll make it a lot nicer. Just give it a little pinch in that, just give it a little stretch. Not too much. But that's about all you need to know to do tapestry crochet. And once you learn how to do it, you can do a cathedral rose window afghan, which are gorgeous and they're huge. It was the second thing I ever made, and it's all done like this with tapestry crochet. It doesn't have all the crazy slants like I did, but like everything I do, I had to put a little crazy in it. So all these slants have a double crochet increase, changing color on the last stitch, the last part of the increase, to my black, then doing a DC2 together, then doing a black increase, changing color on the last part, the last yarn over of the last part of the increase, then doing a double crochet 2 together. Every one of these slants, if there's an increase, there's a DC2 together, then increase, DC2 together. It's like that on all these slants. But this should help you understand how to do tapestry crochet if you've never done it before. It's very easy. Thank you.